Hello, welcome to my new community, Thrive Over 50. Today is day one of my 5 days to move better and find your core challenge. So today's the first challenge, and I'm going to help you activate your core. And in a moment, I'll get you all set up. So the most important thing when it comes to deep core activation is mastering your pelvic tilt. As a Pilates instructor, I've always taught this with the breathing, and I feel that the breathing is quite important. So we'll have a little go at activation, and then we'll come down onto the mat and we'll try a few exercises to get you started and get you through day one. So with core activation, what you want to do, the first thing I tend to do with my Pilates clients is just get them to put their hands on their tummies and just just think about breathing normally. So try not to stress their shoulders, just let them relax down and just start to breathe. So what I'm looking for is a breathe in through the nose and then breathe out through the mouth, but not like that, like as if you're breathing through a straw. So let's try that again. Okay. So what did you feel with your tummy? What I'm hoping is that when you breathe in, the tummy expands outwards because you're drawing the air into the lungs, so everything's expanding. And as you breathe out through the mouth, you might just feel the tummy pull in slightly towards the spine. So I think of the belly towards the spine. And that's naturally what should happen. It doesn't always happen, as I found in different classes when I've done my beginners classes, but this is what you're aiming for. And what I tend to say is when you're breathing out, so let's do the breath in first. As you breathe out, see if you can just pull that navel in towards the spine just slightly. Let's try it again. Breathing out. I'm pulling it in quite hard here, but just to give you that sense of movement. It's a little bit, I've done it a little bit overdone. Let's try it again. So breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. So I've overdone that. And then breathe in, tummy expanding, breathe out. So just a slight incline, navel towards the spine. And what we're looking for is when we come down onto the mat or when we're working out, we're thinking about sort of keeping that position. And I'll explain more to you when I come down onto the mat. This is the way of activating the deep core area. So let's come down to the mat and I'll take you through it from there. Before we go down to do the exercises, you should be able to see a picture up here now, which just describes what the deep core muscles are and the difference between the deep core and the outer core muscles. Effectively, the outer core muscles are what's called the rectus abdominis on the outer side, and the deep core muscles are underneath. What we're going to do is we'll come down now and I'll go through deep core activation on your backs. So just get yourself comfortable. And then what we're doing is we're looking to really sort of stabilize this core area when we're doing exercise. And this is what helps activate core. So you could just do your breath in, tummy's raising, breathe out. And when we're doing that, we're just thinking about printing the back. So you're not in this position, you're just imprinting it very lightly. We want to keep that position when we're doing our workouts. So the first thing we're going to try is we're just going to stretch the leg away and then bring it back in. So this is a beginner's class. If you want to do something that's a bit more advanced, then I have another video within this day one for you to try or to advance to. But when you're stretching this leg away, I'm keeping my back in exactly the same position. What often happens is people would do that and then they'll lift their back up like this. But we don't want to do that. We're trying to work towards just really activating the core muscles. So they stop the back from lifting up. So now you're going to feel it working here. So this is a very low level, just stretch away, keeping that same position. And then we can advance on to taking the arms up. This is a dead bug exercise, but this is the lower level. So we're going to take the opposite arm to the leg and then bring it back in. So I tend to try and breathe out as I stretch away. And all I can feel is my abdominals are working because they're stopping my back from lifting. So if I was to lift it now, can you see the difference? And then all you can feel is it's lifting the rib cage, but the abs aren't working. They're not activating. So I'm just going to bring myself back into position. And when you're in this position, you don't want to push it too hard. So sometimes people might feel that their back needs to be just slightly lifted in this position, which is fine for this particular exercise. The main thing is that you're keeping the back in that same position all the time. You're not letting it lift. Tell you what we could do now. It's just what we call pelvic tilt. So all we're doing is just lift, squeeze your bottom muscles, and you just lift your bottom off slightly and squeeze. And you can feel the core activating there, doing something. This is quite nice for the vertebrae because you're bringing it down through the vertebrae. I'll talk about that in another video. So let's just relax there again. We're going to go to the next level. We're going to take the arms down by our side. So we're going to, again, just think about bringing that back and imprinting into the mat. We're going to lift a knee up and then we're going to bring it down. What quite often happens is when the knee comes up and it comes down, people will do this. And then so we're trying to avoid that. We want to keep that position here. So I'm breathing and I'm breathing out as I come down generally. And there's a little bit of activation going on there, especially if you have a bad back, you might not want to go to the next level. So you could just stick with this, keep that activated, keep that same position. You can actually really push it down slightly so you can feel there's a bit more activation then, especially if you stay at this level. Now come up to what we call tabletop position. That tends to bring your back straight into the mat anyway, but you want to keep that position because what could happen is you could do this and lift the back. There's no support there for your back. So let's try that again in the correct manner. So we're tapping and we're coming up. And we're tapping and we're coming up. So that your back is now staying in position. So just bring the feet down for a second. I'm going to time this and we'll try that for a minute. Okay, so bring yourselves back up into the tabletop position. Keep that back imprinted. And now let's have a go. Breathe however you feel, whatever's comfortable for you. You should feel that here. Now this could be quite a challenge depending on how much exercise you've done previously. The main thing is just keeping that back imprinted. Try not to make the mistake of bringing the knees in too far and doing it like this. We really want to keep the knees in line with your hips. We're coming up to a few seconds now. Okay, now bring one foot down at a time. Okay, so that was tabletop toe taps. I'm going to show you one other exercise which is similar to the previous one. It's slightly more of a challenge than the previous exercise. You're going to come back into the tabletop position and you're going to flex your feet. So your back is imprinted I've done a minute on the timer. We're going to come down with your heels. Chin slightly tucked. You're going down a little bit lower. Now, the faster you do this, the easier it is. So the slower you do this, the more of a challenge it's going to be. And the main thing is you should just feel the activation here. And don't forget to breathe. And after this minute, we'll do a stretch. Okay, just bring your knees into your chest. Like this. And just not too strongly though. And just relax into that position. That's brilliant. And then just always bring the one foot down at a time. Okay, so we're going to come up into seated position. So for today, we're going to just come onto our sides and just slowly come up. So well done. You've just completed day one. You've learned about how to activate your core. And this is the root of the work that we're going to do.